Hello everyone. So in this video I wanted to show you my latest digital collection, and I will be offering this collection in a physical kit as well. So for those of you who like the collection but are not able to print it out, I'm going to give this a try and offer some physical kits of this collection. And so I wanted to show you what this collection looked like printed out and what comes in the kit and so forth. So I'm going to start with the papers. This collection is called Steampunk Glamour. And I thought after I showed this, it would be fun to do a project. So I will be doing that after showing you the preview of this. So these are the papers. My mom, she's not big on steampunk, so I tried to do this, and I love steampunk. So I tried to do this to kind of, incorporate both styles. So for those of you who may not be into the steampunk thing, you could easily cover up the gears here if you wanted. There's a lot of different ways you could use this kit. And then for those of you who love steampunk like me, yeah, I just, I wanted to add in those elements to this collection and be able to kind of just have fun with it. And I thought it would be fun to take this page and collage with her. And same with this. I tried to make, a few really good collage pages. And then I have some background papers, and I have it to where when you print it out, it doesn't use a lot of ink, so it's a little faded, and then it also makes it easy to write and be able to see what you're writing if you're using this for a journal. And same with, these other pages. So these were intentionally created to be a little more faded, but still have a nice design to them and save on ink. And then there's one other page that comes with this that I didn't get printed as well, so you will get an extra sheet in your physical kit. And then this is the sticker page. And so you will get this in your kit as well. These are wonderful because they're on vellum, so when you lay these down, you can't really, you can't see that backing or tell that it's a sticker. And in the one that you would receive, you will not have this border going around, or this box border going around the sticker. This was just a draft one that I did. There are the papers and the stickers, and then you'll get some pockets, envelopes, tabs, and ephemera. This is a pretty large kit. I try to make most of my kits pretty large, so you have enough to create at least 1 or 2 journals from each kit. Okay, so these are the pockets. I got some of the ephemera pieces stuck in there. So you get 3 pockets. And I did create some ephemera pieces. I'll go ahead and show you those now. That will fit over these sections here, so you can create a double pocket. Let's see if I can find one of them to show you. So like here's one of the ephemera pieces, and you can lay it over here like so. And then you have a pocket and another pocket here. So you'd have 2 pockets. And then these are 2 of the larger ephemera pieces here. And I might actually do an add-on to this collection. I want to do more of these ladies. My mom requested it. And then I also have a flower digital collection coming out as well. Here are the tabs. And so you'd get 6 tabs. And then I have the little sentiments that go inside. So those fit perfectly on the inside of the tab. Or you could create your own sentiments to go inside. But there's those. And then the envelopes. I love these envelopes. My mom is the one who helped me design this envelope. And I love them because they're so easy to cut out. And I just think they're pretty too. And then it leaves tons of room here if you want to do journaling on the inside of it. Love the looks of them. They're just fun. So you'll get 4 envelopes in the kit. Or let's see, no, 5. You get 5 envelopes. And then the ephemera, move some of this stuff out of the way here. The ephemera, I tried to include quite a bit here. So you get some of the larger, like a frame and some journal cards. And here's one of the pieces that can go on one of these pockets, like so. So you can create your double pocket there. And then same with this one. Then I had to include flowers, of course. And I did cut all these out to make sure they were easy to cut out. So if you don't get the physical kit and you decide to get the digital kit, I did want to make sure that all of this was really easy to cut out. And we have all these little gears. And these hinges, I thought it'd be fun to create some little flips in the journal, and then you could attach this and make it look like it's a hinge. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Some more gears. So that is all of the ephemera. That is what comes in the entire kit. Again, you get quite a bit in the kit. I like to make my collections fairly large, so you get lots to work with. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's start having some fun creating a project. Now I thought that I would start by making a cover because I have been so eagerly waiting to use some of the new items that I just got in the shop. And I ordered a few of these just to start off with because these are some new things that I'm going to start carrying in the shop depending upon how well that they sell. And so I brought back, I used to sell these and I haven't sold them in a while, but I brought back the Finnabair mechanicals. So I'm going to start carrying these again and seeing, how they sell. And if they do sell good, I'm going to continue with them and order more. I thought that these would work so good with this collection. So I got the flowers. I love these gears. And I got some more metal embellishments to use with this collection. And these are new arrivals. So again, you'll find them in the shop under the new arrival section. And then some other things I thought would be fun is the metallic micro beads. And I'm going to use this Victorian rose mold. I think this is so pretty. And I just thought it'd be perfect for the cover. And then I'm going to use some of the soft matte gel. And I'm going to use the Stamperia Extra Light Soft Clay. I just love it. It's so easy to work with, and so I'm going to show you how easy it is to create beautiful embellishments with this clay. So that is kind of my idea on what I would like to do to start off with this. So I'm going to start by grabbing a fair amount, and then I'm just going to simply press it into the mold. And as you can see, it's just so easy to work with this. It's nice and soft, and if you've ever worked with clay before, I think that this is the best clay I have ever worked with. And it's interesting because when it dries, the piece is super light, so it doesn't weigh anything down that much. It's just really a nice clay. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to take a tool here. This is a bone folder that I'm using, and I'm just going to scrape the excess off the back to give it a nice smooth back. And now I'm going to take and fill in the other two areas. Now, when I did this longer flourish piece and the leaf, I did have problems with it breaking, but it was fairly easy to glue it back together after it dried. I tried it a few times. I did struggle with it not breaking when I went to release it from the mold. It's just so delicate in some of the areas. I just couldn't make it work without breaking it. But again, it was really easy to just take it and glue it together once it dried. So if you do try this and you have that happen, just, take your pieces and let them dry, and then you can just glue them together. So it's still usable if you break off the stem from the leaf, which is what I did, or anything like that. And the clay actually dries pretty quickly. I mean, quick enough for you to work with it. I did let it dry overnight before painting it, so I would let it do, at least that before you go and paint it. And then to release it, after I let it sit for about a half an hour, you can see it starts to pop from the mold. The clay pops up from the mold pretty easily. The roses came out beautifully. But as you can see, the longer flourish, I had a few areas that broke off, and same with the leaves. And there's my rose. It turned out perfect. And now I'm just slowly pressing the back part of the mold to release that longer flourish and those leaves. And then I just let those sit and dry. And here's the pieces once they're dry. And again, I did glue them together, the longer flourish and the leaves. The next thing I was thinking of doing is taking some of these composition notebooks here that my mom coffee stained. She just kind of quickly went through the pages and coffee stained all of them. So she saved me a lot of work. And then I found this old typewriting cover here, which I thought would be perfect for the theme that I'm going with. And I love the cover. I don't think I'm going to, do anything like paint over it or anything like that, but I'm going to apply a decorative cover on it that can be removed, is kind of my thought. And then I thought it could hold these composition notebooks. Now the size of this cover is approximately 10 inches in height by 8 inches in width. So if you're wanting to do something similar, you could create a cover similar to this using chipboard or something along the line of that. Or you might be able to find book covers that would work. The next thing I'm going to do is take these legal sized file folders and I cut them down to approximately 9.5 inches in width by 7 3/4 in height. And I thought that what I would do is create a portfolio, not a portfolio, but a folio to go inside with those notebooks, just something that would be more of a decorative element. And so that's kind of my thought here. I didn't really plan this out, so again, this is just one of those videos where I'm just kind of going along here and having fun creating, not really with any sort of set plan or anything like that. And then I'm going to cut off that hinged area and use that to hinge all of my pieces together. So in this, I'm going to do this with 2 file folders because I want to create kind of a Z fold is my thought. And as you can see, I'm just kind of figuring out how I want to put this all together here. So now that I have it figured out how I want to lay all of this out, I'm going to go ahead and glue my first piece to that hinged section of the file folder that I cut out. And if you're doing this, you want to be sure that you do not glue that file folder piece right on the fold of the hinged piece. So be sure to leave a little extra space, above that fold. And then I'm gluing my second piece down onto the back section of the hinge, and I thought I was going to create a pocket, but I did decide that I was just going to glue that entire section down, and I think I show it later on in the video. You could create a pocket if you wanted to. I think I just ran into trouble when I go to add to this further on that I ended up just gluing it all down. And then I'm going to take my second hinged piece, which is not quite as wide, and if yours is a little wider, it's no big deal. The main thing is just to have that hinge there so you can connect all of your file folder pieces together. So I'm just going to attach this to that top section of that file folder piece, and then I'm going to glue down my last file folder piece so I can create that Z fold. And I'm kind of just lining the pieces up to each edge of the previous file folder pieces that I laid down. I just want to make sure that everything is lined up nicely, because as you go along and start adding to it, you're going to want it definitely lining up, especially when you go to do your folds and all of that. So I have my Z fold all put together here, and now what I'm going to do is take a 4th piece of that file folder and I'm going to score it in half. And I'm going to do this so I can create a dual pocket. So I'm just going to take that and fold that in half. And then I kind of messed up, so it looks it looks a little wonky there, but I did just fold it in half. And then I'm going to take and glue the sides for my pocket. And then I'm just going to glue the back and the sides and the bottom of it to create that pocket. So I have that dual pocket there now. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my decorative designer papers and mat everything. So when you do this, you know, you could probably mat first and then put things together. It might be easier to do it that way, but I really didn't have any trouble matting this after I put my file folder together. This is just to give you a general idea, and you might have a way of doing it that'll be much easier than the way that I show you. I just kind of, when I do these projects, I'm usually just winging it, and so and you know, the time that it takes to do all of this, I don't have time to go back and recreate another one to have these done perfectly, but I hope that it's easy enough to follow along to where if you wanted to do this, you could easily recreate it. So now I have my first piece here. I'm just gonna take and cut off the excess that I have, and then I'm going to just continue and mat the next piece of my file folder. Now, you might have other papers that you want to use. You don't have to do the same exact thing that I'm doing. Again, this is just to kind of give you a general idea of how to create something as far as a different styled journal. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to switch it up a little bit and not do a typical journal, and work with these composition notebooks and create a folio and just kind of, you know, have some fun here, working with a lot of different elements. One thing I wanted to keep in mind when I'm selecting my papers is what I might lay down on each section of my folio. So I want to make sure that I don't have papers like this one right here that's too busy, because I'm going to be putting down elements that might be a little busier, and I don't want it to, you know, kind of get lost as I'm piecing everything together here, if that makes sense. So that's one thing to think about if you're doing this and you're not using the same papers, of what you might be laying down on each section of your folio. Maybe you want to put a pocket there, maybe you want to use some sort of embellishments and so forth. So that's one thing I am kind of thinking through as I'm matting my folio. It's so nice to be able to have time here. I'm at my mom's house and I've just kind of been taking it easy. I'm here for an MRI that I have to have on my shoulder. Hopefully I don't need surgery. I don't know if any of you have had any sort of shoulder surgery, but oh my gosh, my shoulder's been killing me, and so I'm gonna have it checked out. But in the meantime, I'm just sitting here kind of taking it easy, and it's just fun to be able to sit here and just create. It's something I haven't got to do in a while, and I love doing these sorts of videos. I also love it when I can have lots of different things to play with, like the clay, and then pulling out some of those metal embellishments and, you know, the mixed media part of it. To me, that is, I think it's so much fun. So as you can see, I'm just continuing here with matting my folio. I really loved this collection, this Steampunk Glamour. Again, it's just kind of beautiful but different. And I love that about, you know, steampunk and that Victorian kind of mixed in with the industrial. My mom, and she's not too crazy about it, but you know, you could take and use flowers or use some sort of embellishment to cover up the gears if you're not liking that, if you're not a steampunk sort of person, like my mom. Just a thought. There's a lot of different ways that you could work with these papers. I always try to make sure that I'm putting a lot of ideas out there for you guys. And I'm just continuing on here. I'm taking and matting my pockets now. And when I did go to mat some of these, I did have to pull or pry the sides of the pockets a little bit to be able to get the paper down in there, and you'll see that here shortly. So that's one area that you might want to mat ahead of time before you glue that section down. And so now you can see I just need to make sure that that paper goes down far enough for that back section of my pocket, and then I'm just going to trace it and cut it. And I'm just going to glue it down. And then I have that pocket section there done for now. I don't know if I'm going to do anything to that middle section there. I might just leave that alone. So there is the intersection of our folio. Got it all matted. I'm liking the way that it's looking, and now I'm just going to continue and mat that back section. And I'm just going to go ahead, I think, and put on some music and let you follow along. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I took a piece of some muslin fabric and I'm just adhering it to some 32-pound copy paper. And I thought I would run it through my laser printer so I could create this printed fabric. And I thought I might use this for the inside of the cover. So this is something that I'll probably use a little further on in this project, but I did want to show how I did that. And now I'm just cutting some of the larger ephemera pieces, and I'm going to create a pocket here. Now, when the music was playing, you might have noticed that I was adding in all of these trims and laces, and many of those came from the last lace kit that I offered. And I had so many of you purchase this lace kit that I did go and I ordered more. So those are available again, and you can still pick up one of these lace kits. I will have the information listed below along with a link on where you can find these lace kits. And now I'm just taking some of my scrap pieces of trims here and adding that to the dress section of the lady there, and then I'm going to add this little embroidered flower just to kind of finish it off there. And this is a great way to use up those little bits of, scrap pieces of trims that you might have laying around. And next I'm going to take some of the flower ephemera pieces that I cut out and add those to the bottom and upper section of my pocket just to kind of make it so I have a larger pocket there. And I also wanted the flowers just to kind of tie everything together there, just kind of soften the whole look. And then you see me using these little bits and pieces of that embroidered trim. Now, this was something that I found in my mom's stash of trims and laces. And so, you can use whatever you might have on hand. It's just adding those little bits of texture here and there. It just really makes a huge difference in giving that overall finished look to your page or whatever it is that you might be creating. And then I thought that I would just add this little gear down on the bottom section there and then place my flower underneath it. Again, just kind of tying the whole theme of those gears and the flowers, that whole steampunk glamour theme that I have going on here. I love to add lots of layers to most anything it is, whatever it is that I might be creating, whether it's a card or a pocket or a tag. I love adding lots and lots of layers. I just think it creates a beautiful page. And so I hope that this gives you some ideas on how you can layer different elements together. And I think I'm just going to add these little few bits and pieces of that embroidered trim that I have left over and call this pocket done. I really like the way that it turned out, and I just need to find what I want to stuff in the pocket there. So I'm going to, for now, put in one of the envelopes. And then I'll probably put in some of the journal cards and kind of mess with it a little bit later. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that flap section from my file folder, and I thought I would use one of these embossing folders. This is the new Damask embossing folder from Tim Holtz. Love the look of it. I thought it fit in perfectly with this whole steampunk glamour theme that I have going on here. And I'm just going to take and paint it black. Now, you could use black cardstock and score it, to create this flap. But I wanted to use the pieces that I had left over from the file folder, so that's kind of why I did it this way. But again, you could use some black cardstock, attach them together, you know, to create your flap there. And then I thought that it would be fun to play with these matte waxes by Prima. And these I just got in, so these are a new item that I'm now carrying. I haven't used these before. They're antiquing waxes. I've used the metallic waxes before and I absolutely love them. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to play around with these, see how they work. And as you can see, I started with the sepia and it doesn't really show up on the black that well. So then I thought that I would try the yellow ochre, and as you can see, that shows up much better. And then I kind of wanted to give it a patina sort of look, so I'm using this sage color here, and I really liked this color. I thought it was really pretty. I love the antiquing effect that it gives, and just having lots of fun playing with these. And so as you can see, these are so easy to use. I'm just lightly laying the color down, just trying to kind of hit those sections, those raised sections from where I embossed. And I just want to give it kind of that rustic, sort of old world look is kind of what I'm going for here. And then I do later on use the jewel texture and the gold icing to finish it off. And so this is what I ended up with. Love the look of it. And then I thought that I would use that door piece from the ephemera to create that flap there. So now I'm just taking some of my trim. I went back to my main page here of my folio, and I'm going to create another pocket. And so what I thought I would do is take those pieces of trim and those roses that I cut from the ephemera page and stitch those all together. And so I'm just going to stitch around the flowers and some of the trim to attach it, and then glue it down to create my pocket. And I really like the look of that. And then I thought I would show you how to make this pocket, or it's actually a tag with pockets. So easy to make this. My mom showed me how, and she said she learned it from somebody off of YouTube, but she couldn't remember who. But it's brilliant. It's simply just taking a book page and you fold it in half, and then you fold it in half again, and then you take each side and you fold it down about a quarter of the way. And then after you do that, you can stitch it to create your pockets there, and it's as simple as that. And then you can decorate it whichever way that you like. And I just use the scrap pieces that I have left over. Again, this is a great way to use up some of those scraps that you might have lying around. And I decided that I wanted to decorate it first before I stitched it. I just loved these. They're so much fun to make, and it's a great way to, you know, it's a different take on creating a tag. And I just thought that these would be really fun to incorporate in the project. And so I'm just going to continue with laying down some of my scrap pieces. I just wanted to cover up some sections from that book page there, and you know, that's basically all that I'm doing. And then I'm going to show the vellum stickers, and again, these will be in the physical kit. If you bought the digital collection and you're wanting to create those vellum stickers like I show, you could purchase vellum labels and print on those, or you might just have some vellum and you could print on the vellum and then cut it out and use adhesive to create a similar look. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some music, let you follow along as I finish up these tags here with the pockets, and then I will be back. So as you can see, these are super easy to make, and now I'm just taking some Distress Oxide in the Patina shade just to add a little color and finish off some of those edges. And then I'm going to add a little lace inside the pocket to kind of soften some things up. And then I used one of the little ephemera pieces there. And then I can fill the pockets with ephemera or some of the older receipts. Now, these older receipts that you see me using, this is going to be in a new digital collection that I will be launching here in hopefully the next few days. And it's a collection of mainly staple items of old receipts, old papers. A lot of it is from my mom and my own personal stash of things that we have purchased. I have a lot of French receipts and documents. They're beautiful, and I did a whole bunch of scans. I've been meaning to get the digital collection done on this for quite some time, and so I will be launching that soon, and you'll get a little glimpse here, a little preview of some of those receipts that will be in that upcoming digital collection. So here are some of the tags that I did, and again, super easy, a great way to use up some of those scraps and those book pages and just, create a whole different take on a tag. And so now I'm just going to take and glue that pocket section down onto my folio. So I'm just kind of gluing each side of my trim there, and then just the very bottom part of that lace to create that pocket. And I really, really like the way that that looks. It just kind of ties in with the lady and her dress. And here's those receipts that I was telling you about and some of the extra ephemera that I added to the collection. But these are the scans that I did of the French receipts that I purchased quite a while ago and had been meaning to get these scanned and done, and so I finally did that, and I'll have that digital collection coming very soon. So you can see our tag fits perfectly inside our pocket that we created. And now I'm just taking some of the little ephemera pieces and putting those inside the pocket. And I might add in one of those receipts in the larger pocket. And so you can add a lot to that tag and all these little pockets where you can, you know, have your journal cards, and then you have that space for journaling. And so I'm going to call that good for this part of the video. I'll be back with part 2 to show you how I do the cover and how, you know, we go about assembling all of this. That might be in part 3 because the cover, you know, and just some of the other things that I end up doing might take all of part 2, and then I'll finish it up in part 3. But I hope you got lots of ideas. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to catch you back with part 2. Thank you so much for watching.